Psychic with a T, the psychic with a T, that's me. Hi, welcome to part 2 of my energy channeling on God. Thank you for listening and watching. Once again, if you would be interested in a personal reading from me, definitely check out my website, lamarrtownsendtarot.com. Alright, I am available. Make sure you follow me on my social media, Lamarr Townsend Tarot on Instagram and Facebook. And also, if there's an option to subscribe to my Vimeo or like or whatever, make sure you do that as well. I'm new to Vimeo, so I don't know how this works quite yet. But let's go ahead and get into the energy channeling of God Part 2. I'm literally picking up the energy. It's like when we look in the mirror, we see God. What I'm picking up is that we are miracles. There's something about us where we are literal miracles. From the conception of us as humans, as babies, from the birth of us as humans, from us growing and surviving through life, and growing into adults, and living our lives into, old age. It's literally a miracle to be a human and to live for a long time. That's the energy I'm picking up. I hear blessing. I'm sorry for all the noise. I hear blessing. It's a blessing to be human. It's a blessing to be alive. As long as you stick with God. God is almost like a guiding light. When you have a firm connection with God, you really never feel alone. You really never feel like you've lost your place in the world. That's what I'm feeling. Of course, we as humans, we lose our way often, time and time again. But those that have a strong connection with God are those who often fulfill their life purpose, are those who are able to really sustain and move through hardship the easiest. That's what I'm feeling. And I keep saying prayer hands. Prayer hands, there's a reason why when we pray, we do prayer hands. This is a symbolism of God. This is what I'm feeling. This is why often when we see religious artifacts or religious pictures of saints and stuff like that, they're doing the prayer hands. That's what I feel. I hear angels are real. Angels are real. And angels can come in the form of spirit, but angels can also come in the form of human, physical bodies. That's what I'm feeling. Literally, I feel like it's really interesting. Angels will sometimes come in physical bodies and will leave just as quickly, and you'll never see that person again. I've actually had this happen to me before, where I was working at a and this might make me cry. Oh gosh, I was working at Bed Bath and Beyond, actually a retail store, and I wanted to go to college really badly because I was so sick of working 9-to-5 jobs and working these retail jobs, which is related to my astrological natal chart, actually. And I couldn't figure out how I was going to pay for school because I didn't grow up in a rich family or anything like that. And I don't even think my loans and stuff like that and my grant covered the entirety of my bill for school. So what actually ended up happening was I ended up talking to an older, like older white lady. And I kind of told her, I think she said something about me like I look so sad, and I was just, I remember saying something about how, I'm just going through a tough time. I remember, like, I came into work one day, like, sobbing my eyes out because I couldn't pay for school or something like that. And it must have been a couple days after that, I was, just working, going through the motions on autopilot. And this woman, kind of came to my line and was like, you look so sad, what's going on, And I remember telling her, I'm going through this difficult time where I really want to go to college, I really want to go to school, I really want to study this, I want to be an entrepreneur, but I just don't have the money to do that, And I think she said, well, I'm going to pray for you, I wish you the best, and she kind of went about her way, and, I was like, oh, thank you so much, that made me feel better. But I just kind of kept going on about my day, not really worrying about it. Well, this same lady actually came in a few days later, maybe a week later, and she came to my line again and gave me, I think she literally gave me like $400 to pay towards my schooling. $400 which I didn't have and needed desperately. And I remember saying something to my mom, because I was at that point I was going to give up. I was like, it's not going to happen for me. But I think that lady was actually an angel. I think that lady was literally an angel, because I had never seen that lady again, and I worked at Bed Bath & Beyond after that for a couple years, and never saw that lady again. But I remember my mom saying even to me, she must have been an angel. God must have sent her to you to keep you going, to apply to school and keep moving forward. Well, lo and behold, through the grace of God, I actually ended up finding some way to pay for school and graduated 4 years ago. And here I am doing exactly what I wanted to do. Not necessarily exactly what I wanted to do, but I'm an entrepreneur. I got my degree, and it's through the grace of God. God will literally do this for you. God will put, and remember I said this in my reading on YouTube, where God will come in human form, whether this is Him literally coming in through human form Himself, or sending His angels, which are an extension of Him, to come through human form. Will send these people in your path or in other people's paths who are going through a dark time, to give them a message or to give them hope or something like that. So I've actually seen this happen in my own life, which is very interesting. We have to start thinking of things in terms of light and dark. Whenever there's something going on in our life, such as a rock bottom moment, that is a dark moment, right? We often call that a dark moment. But what we really need to be seeking in those moments are the light, which is God, all right, which is healing, which is hope. And it's when you start moving towards the light and reaching towards the light is when you'll actually notice change in your life. There's something about actually reaching towards the darkness where, once again, darkness is necessary, but constantly reaching towards the darkness will pull you back in life. And we all have timelines. So it's like reaching towards the darkness will pull you back in terms of your timeline. And if you go too far back in your timeline, it's almost like you have to start all over again. So this is often why people who get really, really entrenched in the darkness, they get taken out. Either by the devil, or by God Himself. They get taken out. And you can believe in reincarnation, but there's something where either on the spiritual side you start again, or you may get reincarnated as a human or something like that to learn your lessons all over again. We all have spiritual timelines, not human timelines. Spiritual timelines, our spirits, alright, is connected to our timeline, not our body. That's what I feel. This is often why you'll see, like, people who seem to defeat the odds, like President Obama, is a perfect example of this. The first black president, he followed his spiritual timeline. That's what I'm feeling. There were angels, God may have even come into Obama's life at some point in his life, but there were definitely angels placed in Obama's path to keep him on his spiritual timeline. That's what I feel, very strongly. Remember I said God has chosen people. Not all of these people are religious. Although I feel like Obama does have a connection to God, definitely. But not all of these chosen people are religious. Lady Gaga is another example I'm picking up. Was a chosen one. But we're all human and we have free will. So even though some of us are chosen ones, we have the free will to move towards the darkness. We have the free will to go towards that which is negative, which is of the devil, or things like that. That would be considered moving backwards in your timeline. So even though you can move forwards, in your timeline and fulfill your purpose in your timeline, you still have the ability to move backwards in your timeline. That's what I feel. The strongest connection you can have to God is through prayer. That's how you can have the strongest connection through God, and maintaining your connection to God is through prayer. That's what I feel very strongly. Another way is through astrology. That's what I feel, is through astrology. That's what I feel. Connecting with the planets, connecting with the stars, things of that nature. I hear he answers your prayers. God does answer your prayers. But remember, God can answer your prayers, but there's always going to be this battle between light and dark. So even though God will answer your prayers, if there's too much darkness around you, you may miss the blessing, or the blessing may be sabotaged for you in some way, shape, or form. So it's important to maintain staying in the light. Once again, especially if you're a spiritual worker, or if you do spirit work, all right? I'm actually seeing something about portals. Portals being a connection to God. Portals. Almost like black holes, but it's like black holes kind of suck in energy. So I feel like black holes are more associated with darkness, but portals are where things can enter into the atmosphere. And portals literally will exhibit light. That's what I feel. So, okay, this is interesting. Whenever there's like a flash of light that happens on Earth or in the sky, that's a portal being opened. Or something coming through the portal. Whether this is something we can see or can't see. Sometimes when we see shooting stars, that's also a portal being opened in some way, shape, or form. This is why when people pray, when people see shooting stars, they say wish upon a star, right? Or say a quick prayer, or wish for something. Because your prayer or your wish will go through the portal that's being opened to God. That's what I feel. That's why astrology is so important, because some of these astrological shifts and movements actually are portals being opened. So that's why people do work on the new moon. Or, during the new moon we'll say a prayer, a really strong prayer or something like that. Because the portals are being opened to God. That's what I feel. Just as there are portals to the underworld that could be opened as well. There are portals to the upper world that could be opened as well. That's what I feel. Even the demons fear God. Even the devil fears God. The devil has, to some degree, a strong defense against God, I suppose. But even the devil, even demons fear God. That's what I feel. He wants me to end this reading by saying that you are of God. You're not separate from God. There is no reason to feel like you are separate from God. You are an extension of God. That's why they say, some religions or practices or teachings say that, God is within you. You are your own God. To a degree, this is true, because we have free will, but you are an extension of God. Okay? You are an extension of God. That's what I'm feeling. If you ever, this is interesting. If you ever want to connect with God immediately, if prayer is not working for you, go out in nature. Walk out in nature barefoot. It's interesting because they say that walking out in nature barefoot and spending time in nature grounds you. Remember, I don't know if you watched my YouTube reading about my part 1 about God, but remember I was saying God is gravity. God is the gravity that grounds our feet to the ground, literally. God is grounding. That's why after you pray, you say a strong prayer, especially if you've gone through a period of darkness, you feel more grounded after coming out of prayer. People who pray often are more grounded. They are. And you don't need to be religious. You don't need to... There's no pretense when it comes to God. There's no... What's the word you want me to use? What do you want me to say? There's no need to feel like you have to get prepared for God or change yourself for God. God already knows who you are. God made you literally in His image. He knew how you were going to be before you were even made. So God knows you in a lot of ways better than you know yourself. So once again, there's no need to, when coming to God, there's no need to feel like He doesn't know you. He does know you. All it takes is prayer. All it takes is spending time in nature. Why do you think I love plants so much? I'm just now realizing why I love plants so much. They're of God. Alright? Why do you think I love pets so much? They're of God. Everything is of God. Now there are some things that are of the devil, but it's actually the devil that you're separate from. Because the devil, demons and things of that nature are separate from God. And I'm not saying that's bad if you practice that, or believe in or follow the devil, but I'm just picking up what God is laying down, so to speak, okay? It's actually the darkness that's separate from God, not the light. That's what I'm feeling. God is the strongest and the highest energy that you could ever achieve on earth. God is the strongest and highest energy that I believe you can achieve in this galaxy. People that are highly connected to God are actually the strongest beings. I truly believe that. No amount of voodoo, no amount of black magic can come against these people who have a strong connection to God. Actually, I believe people who have a strong connection to God, if anyone sends black magic, voodoo, or whatever to them, it actually goes back to this. It's like a boomerang. It goes towards a person, but because whoever has a strong connection to God has this kind of like almost white light around them, it bounces off that white light and goes back exactly to the person who sent the energy towards the person of God. That's what I feel. This is why demons will often turn on those who do black magic or who do devil work or stuff like that. It's actually those people sending that energy, those demons or that dark energy towards people of the light of God. And remember, demons are afraid of God. Demons are afraid of people who are of God. Especially God's chosen ones. And it's like the demons kind of get fed up and it's like, why do you keep sending me to this person who is of God and of the light and putting me in harm's way? Like frustrating me. Demons actually get angry by this and will turn on people who do spiritual work, negative spiritual work against others who are of the light. And I'll venture to say, and I'll just go on record and say this, I think in certain cases, light work can be stronger than dark work. Even in the case of, like, hexing someone or something like that. Because eventually the dark work comes up against the wrong person, who is of the light. And I don't think this earth was meant to be of darkness. I really don't. I think actually the earth is trying to rid itself of darkness. Because initially this earth was made of light, solely light. Was meant to inhabit only light energy. Plants are of the light. Animals are of the light. Now, of course, there are animals who seem to be of the dark, who maybe kill you or try to kill you if they see you out and about. But at the same time, those of the light, animals can even see people who are of the light. I truly believe that. Animals can actually see people who are of God and most likely will not attack that person. May actually protect that person, or may actually like admire that person in some way, shape, or form. It's actually the darkness that animals are threatened by, not the light. That's what I feel. And I feel like animals can have light and darkness within them too. So everything's actually light and dark in this world. This was a very enlightening reading. I hope I gave you some clarity and insight. And remember, the best way to get in touch with God is through prayer. So if there's anything I would say after watching this reading, before you go to bed tonight, or first thing in the morning when you wake up, say a prayer for yourself and those you love. Your prayers are heard and your prayers are answered. Even the smallest ones. May not be answered in the way or in the time frame that you would like it to be, but they're heard and they're answered regardless. I love you all. God loves you. And love is the highest form and the highest energy in the world as well. So I thank you for listening and watching this reading. I really enjoyed this reading, and I hope I gave you some clarity and insight. Remember, I'm available for personal readings on my website, lamarrtownsendtarot.com. Look forward to more content on my Vimeo. Also, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, Lamarr Townsend Tarot on YouTube, if you're not subscribed. And I appreciate you for listening and watching. And remember, everything I said in this reading, I think this was like a breakthrough for a lot of people, including myself. God is real, you all. And after this reading, I'm never questioning it, ever, again, ever. Thank you for listening and watching. Remember, if you want a personal reading, I'm available, and I'll see you in the next video. I'll see you for your own personal reading. Either way, I'll see you soon. Wow.